प्रेम से बोलो उमापति महादेव की जय, श्री आदि शक्ति माता की जय. Sitaram everybody. And let me first wish each and every mother a happy Mother's Day, a blessed Sunday. I hope you had a wonderful day. Tonight is our third night, our third installation of Devi Gyan Yagna, where we have been listening in this weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, tonight, where we have been doing discourses taken from different texts. First night we did Brahma Puran, second night we did Bhagavad Puran, and tonight we enter into Anand Ramayana, a version of Ramayana. First night we listened to a discourse with regard to Radha Devi and Yashoda Mata, where she wants to learn, she wants to get the knowledge that will take her to Golok, or to give her that mukti after she witnessed Krishna getting married to Rukmani. Last night we did the discourse where Devaki is reunited. I hope you got it, or if you have the opportunity to watch it on repeat, it is on the Facebook and it will be on YouTube soon, where Devaki is reunited with her 6 sons that she had seen slaughtered by the hands of the Mamu Kans. Tonight I was requested to read, because tomorrow is the moon is going to be in the Naumi, and we will have Janaki Naumi, or the Jayanti of Sita Mata. Another name for her is Janki. So tonight we enter into that discourse so that it will prepare you for what tomorrow to appreciate. The discourse of Sita Devi is not a common one. We hear of her, but we don't know much. Tonight, as our last installation, permit me to edify you a little bit about this goddess, about this mother, as we celebrate Mother's Day. Tomorrow morning, everybody will get up and they'll say their prayer, but I want you to have a greater understanding of how she came, of why we do what we do. And we celebrate this God, this goddess. We celebrate so many things, and sometimes it's shrouded in mystery. Tonight, what I say for the benefit of all, especially our younger ones who may not know the ins and outs of the Ramayana, and we want them to ensure they understand the connection so that they know why things happen the way it happened. Good? So everybody, tonight again I cordially welcome everybody. If you came in a little after, and if you're watching us on the repeat, God bless you and bless your family as we do this discourse tonight. Everybody, please draw your hands as we begin with mantras. Gajananam Bhutaganadisevitam Kabhet Jambu Palachara Bhakshitam Umasutam Sho Kavinashkarakam Namami Vigneshwara Parapankajam Sarvamangalamangaliye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trayambike Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Rama Rama Bhadrama Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunataya Nataya Sitaya Pate Namah. Shri Adi Shakti Mata Ki Jai. We enter into this version of Ramayana, which is rooted in Valmiki Ramayana. It focuses on the after when Ram Raj is there, where he becomes king. But in the early section, it answers some questions about Ramayana that we don't hear. For example, the different curse that came to Ravana that caused how we know the story to evolve. For example, we know he gets the name Dashanan because he has 10 heads. But when it is the moment when he lifts the Kailash Parvat, and in that show of strength, because he was able to do it, Lord Shiva squeezes the mountain to humble him back down. And when the arms are pressed and he starts a ball, 20 arms in his body being squeezed, he balls so much that throughout the universe this squealing was heard. He's called Ravana, the terrible crier. Nandishwar, Nandi, the bull, the Vahan of Lord Shiva, sees him and sees how he's beaten up when he's crying in this way. And he says, you look as a perturbed, as an uncontrolled monkey, and for that reason I put shrap on you, you horrible person, because of what was going on. You will become destroyed, you will be an enemy and have to face and have to be destroyed by that army of monkeys. Then at one point, he as we will hear tonight, he had a way of molesting, attacking, because he's so strong, he's so powerful, he feels he can just take women and do what he wants, and he had a history of this. And at one point he did it, and the girl runs to the son of Surya Narayan Swami, Nalakubara, and Nalakubara, who puts, according to Anand Ramay, puts a shrap on him again. If you by force take a female, if by force you take a woman, that will bring the end to your family. Not only yourself, but to your family. There are many instances like this. The plotting of not only Ravana, but like his mother, who influences Ravana, and it shows the influence in Anand Ramayana, the influence of a mother. You know, in Gita, it talks about, Krishna says, I take them and I put them into the womb. Like, I'm using my words now. Into the womb that match the category of karma the person comes. So you live a downtrodden life, you have little good karma, plenty bad karma. When it is time for you to come upon the earth, you're going to be born from a womb maybe where there's maybe not so much good genes, where there's not so much good nutrition, not so much, not only religious studies, but the quality of your life is not going to be so much. Manners, etiquette, etc. As opposed to the person who has done different type of pious deeds, good thoughts, charity. You come from a womb, you are placed into such a woman that will bring forth now somebody with good genes. You are exposed to healthy food, healthy substances. You are taught how to become strong, how to become righteous. You are taught all these things, and you take it, you might take it for granted because of the pedestal you achieve. The mother is someone who becomes like this pivot, this pivotal point, this pedestal, as I'm saying, where it takes you only upward. Think about what I'm saying. If you reflect, in chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita, he says that we are truly in Kali Yuga, Arjun, when the women of the family, the women of the village, the women of our society stop teaching, stop caring, stop loving, stop showing. When the women lose their culture, lose their decorum, their etiquette, their ways, who is going to teach the next person or the next generation? Tonight, at the very onset of our satsang, who would you be without your mother? In this regard, I'm asking here tonight, and another night we'll do it. We have other, yagya being planned for this period where there's not so much religious occasion. We could use this time to talk Gyan, to learn more. So I want to do that with you. But the mother of Ravana is somebody named Kaikashi. She's the daughter of the demon that causes Ganesh Baba to lose his head, Sumali. Sumali is somebody who caused great amount of pain. And in terms of the family, Kaikashi is born from that. And that girl is filled with that envy, that greed, etc. And she marries into a very religious family, very high-born father. And Ravana comes from Brahman blood, He comes from prayers. But the mother had such an influence on them that she took the prayers the father would give, the knowledge, and she tells him to, to take it for jealous reasons, use it for greed, never being satisfied by what they have. And she encouraged her young to have that insatiable, want. I want more, I want more. One example is given. Kubir is the god of wealth. He eventually, when he makes friendship with Lord Shiva, I think it is in Anand Ramayana, but it is also in Shiv Puran. When the original owner of Lanka is Kubir. And Kubir is very friendly to his stepbrother Ravana, different mother, same father. And Kaikashi influences Ravana. Look at what your brother has. He has a lot. You should take it from him. And he does. Takes the kingdom, and when Kubir goes to tell the father, he says, leave him. Let him have it. Let him have it. Leave him. Leave him. And Lord Shiva takes care of Kubir, making him one of the lords of the direction, what we call Digbal, and all that. Then another moment, Kubir is passing with the pushpak, let's just say for children, the aeroplane, the flying vehicle that Sri Ram will eventually use to come back from the battle to Ayodhya in what Tulsidas Ramayana talks about. That vehicle was originally owned, according to Anand Ramayana, by, again, Kubir. Kaikashi sees it, and she says to Kumkaran, one of the daughter, and Ravana, don't you think your brother has a lot? And she lit a light of envy again, causing, at some point, as the story unfolds, for Ravana to take it from Kubir. And constantly, he had this way. We hear of, for example, in Tulsidas Ramayana, where Bali, or Vali, brother of Sugriv, rightful king of Kishkinda, he and Ravana were good friends. But Anand Ramayana talks about how powerful Vali is. And a little insight is given there. So much so that when Ravana is now, because again of Kaikashi's influence, and he wants to go and conquer this and that and this place and that place, he looks to them as a race of half human, half animal. The Ravana is not monkey straight. In evolutionary science, we talk about Homo erectus the missing link then between the monkey and then the Homo sapien, or what you and I are, or what we are called human. Homo erectus had features similar to what we describe in our text called Hanuman, in terms of the upright spine, in terms of the projection of the jaw, some remnant features of the monkey, but human-like thumb, fingers, appendages. It's very similar to what we study in school. So he looks to them as a, I am able to kidnap Indra. Hence Meghnad, his first son, from Mandodari, is called Indrajit. So he goes there with a lot of ferocity, confidence. His mother tell him to do it, and he goes with that in his mind. And when he goes, Bali is playing dice with his queens and his, in the palace. And when Bali threw the dice in one instance, he says, "Oh, you small boy, bring that dice." And not for the life of Ravana, he could lift the dice. He couldn't lift the dice, much less for a blade or a weapon or a cup or anything that Bali had. The servant runs, a little girl runs and picks it up. And Ravana is intimidated, but he still charges at Bali. Bali quickly beats him. And to encage him, Angad is a little boy. Angad is in his crib, and they take the crib and put it over Ravana and traps Ravana. So heavy is this crib. He's trapped there so much that the urine of Angad is running down and all on his face and all this type of thing. And it explains why when Angad goes to meet Ravana, when in Tulsidas Ramayana they're begging him to release Sita Mata and to give up this fight with Sri Ram, how, if we reflect on that discourse, how Ravana speaks to Angad as if he, I know your father and I were friends, and you have become an enemy now. You have aligned yourself with an enemy. And Ravana was disappointed in Angad, but he did not receive him well. And this is why, after being trapped there and being punished in this way with the child's urine run, it's very disrespectful. They moved the crib. Tara Devi moved the crib, and they allow him to run away. And as he's running away, he became humble, and he asked for friendship. And Tara, that is Angad's mother, influences Vali to become friends with Ravana now that he was humble. And he goes back, and Kaikashi influences him. Tonight, we're going to hear about the birth of Sita Mata, but how, just compare the influence of her mother. Sita Devi, later on in this Anand Ramayana, we hear of how Love and Kush, how they get married, how the sons of Lakshman, they get married, and how the story goes on, and what type of mother she becomes. But let's see the influence of when mothers don't take the time to love the children, teach the children, as Gita does say. When we reach in such a place that this lady who has this pivotal role doesn't do her job, chaos, Kali Yuga, is then going to be let loose on society. Tonight, we enter into Sarakan, Sagar 3 of the Anand Ramayana. Before we do so, please join your hands as we do Sumiran, as we ask for the blessings of Sri Ram, as we are about to do this discourse, wonderful discourse, and it is for your blessings that we are doing it. So ask that, dear Lord, may you bring in the life of myself, in the life of my mother, my family, that type of punyam, that type of ashirvad, that type of blessing that will bring about health, happiness, joy, togetherness. Thank you for a good day. Thank you that we had a wonderful day. Maybe some of you are still dancing and celebrating. Dear God, please allow us to continue in this way. Jo sumirat siddhi hoy, Gananayak kari vadavadana, Karahu anugrah soy, Buddhi rashi shubha guna sadana, Mukha hoi machala, Pangu chadhai girivada gahana, Jasu kripa sudhayal, Dravahu sakala kalimala dahana, Nila sarorahu sham, Tarunaruna barija nayana, Karahu sumama urdam, Sarashira sagara shayana, Bando Guru Padakanda, Kripa Sindhu Nararupa Hari, Mahamohatama Ponja, Jasu Vachana Ravikara Nikara, Jo sumirata siddhi hoy, Gananayak karivada vadhana, Umapati Mahadeva ki jai, Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki jai, Siyabhar Ramachandra ki jai. We enter where Vishwamitra had gone to this Swayambar that Janak is hosted. It is where Sri Ram wins the hand of Sita. Bird is buzzing that the Raghunandan had won Devi's hand. Joy, not only in the father, but in the goddess. That Mahavishnu had come for Lakshmi Devi, and she knew that her Lord was there. It is here she garlands him. It is here that the Janak is so happy that he goes to bow to Vishwamitra, his feet, and he says, because of you, oh Guruji, today I am going to have a son-in-law. A son-in-law like Sri Ram. I am so happy. The city starts to make preparation. Great wedding is about to happen. Great amount of gifts are going to be given in Dan. Food is going to be shared. Janak requests that Sri Ram send message for his father. And Dasrath receives this wedding, not this wedding invitation as it were. Dasrath, the queens, everybody start to make preparation. Gifts are going to be packed. Everything is packing up a great entourage. They are going to the place where Sri Ram and Lakshman are going to get married. Message is sent for Bharat and Shatrughan to also come. And when they come, it is here. Let's hear what happens. When they are entering Bharat and Shatrughan, Janak begins to speak to the Samdi Dasrath that he also has a plan for those boys. Sita Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama Rama, Sita, Sita Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama Rama. Kush dvajasya me bandho shrutir shra mandavi vatavete balakate ramaye ruvyo na mandave sitayo mitave madhavi pratayo. Sita Ram Ram Ram, Sita Ram Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram Ram Ram. He says, "O Rajan, I gave Sita to Ram, I gave Urmila to Lakshman." Sita is the one who came from the earth. The name Sita is indicative because she was discovered with a plow. Please listen, if you don't know her name, why she is named Sita, pay attention. My brother Kush Dwaj has two daughters, Shruti Kriti and another one named Mandavi. Very beautiful, full of youth. I brought them all, they all grew up together. I wish to give Mandavi to Bharat and Shruti Kriti to Shatrughan. So in this way, I provide the 4 brides to your 4 sons. O Dasrath, O Rajan of the Raghu dynasty, may you please accept my offer. And in this way, Dasrath did. Preparations is happening. And Dasrath went to meet the Pandit, the Pujari Pandit, who would officiate over this sanskar that was about to happen. Shata Anand is that Pandit, and he says to him, "O Guruji, may you please tell me, who is this Sita? I heard a little bit from the father just now. I heard a little bit. He mentioned something about a plow. What is that about? How did she come? Please tell this to me. If I am to receive this girl, I want to know everything. I want to know all about her. Please give me this information." Let's hear what happens. Sita Ram Ram Ram, Sita Ram Ram Ram, Sita Ram Ram, Sita Ram Ram Ram. Samyak ye prishtam tva raja shrunuvyak granahasya asita puri nripati. Padmaksha raja putri iti vishruti yadrishta sakhalo lochan Lakshmi. Sita Ram Ram Ram, Sita Ram Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram Ram Ram, Sita Ram Ram Ram. Chintayams Manasi Lakshmi Kanyam Karomyamaham Tapaseva Nijke Tam Ranjayami Nirantaram Iti Nishascha Tvasanripastatavam Tripati Brataha Mahatapa Drishtva Prasanam Managratu Lakshmi Vachanam. Sita Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram. Panditji says, "O great king, a long time ago, there was a king by the name of Padmaksha. He was very famous. And for the benefit of himself and his people, he taught that he should acquire, he should possess Lakshmi Devi, so that the treasury would never run dry, everybody would be healthy. This was his thought, that once Lakshmi is with you, you can't go wrong. So he makes the idea, he formulates a plan that he's going to get Lakshmi to become his daughter via tapasya. Lakshmi Mata became very pleased with him. She says, "Son, ask for whatever you desire." And he says, "Mother, may you become my daughter." And Lakshmi Mata says to him, "O Rajan, I am a dasi, I am a slave, I am a servant to Mahavishnu. I am not independent. I am always at his side. But if he gives me to you, I will become your daughter." Honoring the words of Lakshmi Devi, Raja Padmaksha went and he started to do great amount of tapasya to Mahavishnu. And one day, Lord Vishnu appears to him. Didn't say anything. But Mahavishnu gives to him a big citrus, a big citron. Is the correct term here? And Padmaksha became very confused. God has given me an orange, children. An orange? What is this orange? And at the advice of Lord Vishnu, he starts to peel the orange. What happens when he looks inside? Sita Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram. Tam drishtva sabhi lakshah sab kanyam meni nijam shubham padmaksh nripatiya kanyam padamaloka vadanti chah avayam sutasyam ramyam sarva chintakanya nijam shloka matu sadagyasya bhutva vaktra pala punah jatam. Sita Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram. Shri Lakshmi Mata ki Jai. And when he started to peel the orange, instead of fruit, when he opened it, to his surprise, a beautiful little girl was in the middle. For this reason she was called, he named her Padma. But everybody in the city knew that she was that goddess Lakshmi. And when she came out of the orange and she starts to grow, the pieces of the orange reformed into citrus and she started to share. And in there now, those who that received the citrus, they started to feel good. The place started to glow as if the moon was shining rays in that place. Lakshmi had brought that great amount of lustre, barakat, the energy of favor had come. And the king feels as if he knows to himself he had achieved his goal, his desire. She grows, and it was time for her swayambar. It was time for her marriage now, so quick. But the father does his duty and he calls all concerned, all qualified. Please come and let us have a competition to see who is favorable, who is capable of becoming this girl's husband. Jai bole Baba tab sharanam, Jai bole Baba tab sharanam, Jai bole Baba tab sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva tab sharanam, Swayamvaraya Yagyena, Putra Rakha Karaya Nripan, Te api shrunuyangaro yukta yascha yuha padma swayamvar. Jaya bole Baba tab sharanam, Jaya bole Baba tab sharanam, Jaya bole Baba tab sharanam, Jaya Samba Sadash Tav sharanam, Nagha nadasu madreshva, Bhuruhaya kamrupinaha, Yuyutsha yaksha kinaryascha, Rakshasya ravanya dhaya. Jai bhole Baba tav sharanam, Jai bhole Baba tav sharanam, Jai bhole Baba tav sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tav Sharanam. So the Swayamvar is a gathering of the princes, the kings, the Kshatris that will compete to win the prize. The prize is, in this case, Padma. But in addition, there was a yagya that would have been done at the end of the Swayamvar to give thanks, to glorify God that the Swayamvar was successful. So the father now, as he approaches this huge hall of men, young and young at heart, all wishing to, to win the hand of Padma. All the musicians from the heavens, all the Kinnaras, the Daityas, even Ravana had come. And all witness. The father stands up and he knows that this is Lakshmi. And he says, the one who is able to develop the color of the sky, that blue color, that person will be the husband of Padma. This is my fixed resolve. There is no other way. There is nothing else that you could do or have that will win the hand of my daughter. All the Daityas, all of them start a plot amongst themselves right there. We could never do that. We will never be able to fulfill the requirement of this father. You know what? We're going to kidnap her. When we study the 8 different types of wedding, there is one type that would have been prevalent in these times where the girl is married via the art of kidnapping. It was relevant in these times. So they start a plan. You know what? We can't have her through the normal procedure, meaning with the blessings of parents and so on. We're going to take her in a different way. All the humans, all the devatas, they walked away because they could not fulfill that requirement. And when weapons were dragged and the Danavas, the demons come to take her, the father Padmaksha raises his weapons and a fight ensues. Padmaksha is damaged badly and they overrun his forces and they now go to hold on to Padma, and Padma runs. And where does she go? She jumps into the fire of the yagya. They can't see her, they can't find her nowhere else. They consider her to be lost. They tear that city apart. They they look high and low in the palace, thinking she went through the fire, but she went somewhere else and hid. No bawling, no squealing, no body, no form, no corpses in the fire, so she's not there. They start to dig and they destroy the palace. They destroy the earth around the palace, thinking she's hiding somewhere. So all the Danavas start to dig and they totally destroy the palace of Padmaksha. It was as if it was just rubble. In a moment, the entire city was turned to only a cremation ground. And in this verse here, it says, whilst coming into contact with Lakshmi, Padmaksha meets with a very tragic fate. It is for this reason the sages never pray to hold or to have Lakshmi. Because of this, the mind gets agitated. Because of Lakshmi, grief, fear, anxiety, anxiousness, a person could put themselves to get harm. This is why we as Hindus look at your prayer, we worship Lakshmi, but we don't tell Lakshmi, come and live, stay. Even in the Shakti faith, in the Shakti way, under that line, very rare you will hear a person praying to manifest Lakshmi, because when Lakshmi is with you, good, don't let her leave you. And the person becomes very agitated that they are afraid somebody will take what they have. And obviously, it brings a lot of anxiety because there's a lot of envy. So people pray for Lord Shiva to stand in their house. People pray for Lord Vishnu to support them, Ganesh Baba to live in the plaque or the yantra on their doorway, etc. There are many examples of that. But the person does not pray for this lady to live in this way. And I'm saying this because we sometimes have a tradition where we think Lakshmi is coming and she's not coming and she's lost and all that. It is really due, what we really mean is the blessings of Lakshmi Mata. When you're saying your prayers, when you're lighting your diya and you're praying for the grace of the Devi, that is something else. In fact, when doing an installation for a Lakshmi Murti, a person has to be very careful. For this reason, careful meaning the lifestyle you live not to contradict with the puja that you conduct. You have to maintain these things. For this reason, one of the most powerful yantra is the Shri yantra, which is the Lakshmi yantra in other words, because of what it represents. And you know where you see it again? For those godchildren that told me they went to see the Doctor Strange movie, you see it in Doctor Strange in Marvel. Pay attention, when he's doing his hand like this, you'll see it. That is considered to be very powerful. And in the discourse where I spoke about Lakshmi and her twin or her sister Alakshmi, their relationship is very funny and you have to be careful. So when a person is lighting their diya, you will see there are rules for the oil, and we've spoken about this, how many lights. You pray properly, you're careful, you're meticulous. It is not just a light. And when we spoke the first night about blowing out light, Hindus are not supposed to do that. And in this example where you're getting a warning about Lakshmi, when you desecrate the light and your spittle or your mucus, your fluid is being blown on that light, it is as if you're spitting on this lady. These little things, and this is just a simple example, sometimes we are causing our own problems. We are causing our own problems. So there has to be a balance of your normal life, but then also there has to be a decorum when it comes to our beliefs. As we pray to the light, we ask Mother in this form, Lakshmi, to please come have seat in our home, our life, our job, our personal life, etc., etc. And one of the ways is the kindling of the light at the Sandhya hour. So another mother in Devi Bhagavad, you hear in an entire book about Sandhya and Sandhya worship. Who was Sandhya before? But Sandhya is a tool to achieve the goddess Lakshmi, and not the full force of her, but the power, the blessings that she brings. At the killing of Padmaksha, the people were lost. terrified. And they scattered. At one point, Lakshmi, in that form of Padma, the spouse, in the form of Padma, came out of the Havan Kund she had jumped in. And at that same moment, Ravana was passing with his aeroplane that he took from his brother Kubir, the Pushpak. And whilst he was passing, zipping through the sky, a servant by the name of Sharan, who works for Ravana, says, look, the princess you wanted to marry, look, she's outside of the Havan, she's there. And yet again, Ravana quickly goes and he holds on to her hand. And he tells her, today I've got you. Today I am going to marry you. And as he turned around, Sharan says, hold on to her. And Padma slips out of his hand and went back into the Havan pit. But now there's no fire. But where did she go? And Ravana says, I am the one who fought Padmaksha. I am the one who fought Indra. I had fought everybody. At one point, he was taking Parvati Mata when he takes the lingam to go back to his city for Kaikashi, his mother. This is before he gets married to Meghnad's mother. He says, I have achieved all these things. You think I cannot find you in this Havan Kund? And he starts to dig. But Lakshmi Mata speaks to him and says, because you touched me, remember the shrap that Nala Kubara had said that if he tries to by force take a woman, he's going to pay? He says, oh Padma, you have already troubled me and you got away from me, but you are not going to get away. Devi says, I will bring an end to you. And thus speaking, when Ravana is digging with his weapons through the soot, the ash, the bhasma of the Havan Kund, he comes across 5 gems. Ravana picks up the 5 gems and he places them into a box. And he boards the Pushpak and goes to Lanka. Reaching Lanka, Ravana places this box in the temple. And he goes to tell Mandodari, who is in her bedroom, that dear Devi, I had brought special precious gems for you. I kept it in a box and I placed it in the temple for you. Go and bring it. She goes to the temple and she picks up the box. But when she went to lift the box, she couldn't lift it. It was very heavy. She felt somewhat ashamed that she couldn't do what the husband says. She goes back to tell him. She says, what type of gem is so heavy? And Ravana smiled and he got the box and he lifted, he tried, he tottled a little bit, couldn't move. And when he opened the box, did not see 5 gems, but he saw a small girl child that was glowing as if the sun was living inside that box. The demons, all of them who were there witnessing this great moment, their eyes started to dazzle with all the light that was permeating out of the box. The queen, Mandodari, she wants to know now, more than ever, what gems are you talking about? Who is this child? Where did this come from? Ravana now has to fess up, he has to talk the truth. Let's hear what happens. Pahi pahi gajanana Parvati nanda gajanana Padmaksha kul tvaj dehi sarva vritam dashanan krodant dhuryo mandodari praha Baya bhetah dashananam iti kritayate Prachanda cha kula vridha sakarani Lanka Lakshmi liye mani maniyat gyatvayapi chetasetam drishti swayanta Lanka teja swayam vani pahi pahi Gajanana Parvati Nanda Gajanana. All started to, they wanted to see the beautiful girl. And at that moment, Ravana starts to speak to Mandodari the story of the war, the story of Padmaksha, the story of Padmaksha getting Lakshmi as his daughter, Padma, the story of the fight that killed Padmaksha. He tells her that he saw her in the Havankon and he went for her. And Mandodari becomes terrified, listening as if she was hearing the words of that voice of Padma saying that I would destroy your family. Because of the shrap of Nalankubara. In anger, she speaks to Ravana, you fool! And this is the only recorded time that this lady speaks like this. You are well aware of the inauspiciousness of this girl coming here. She is the destroyer of your race because of your terrific deeds. And you are so foolish that you would bring her willingly into this castle, into this place. Still you have brought her into Lanka. Why have you done so? Oh foolish man, have you not learned anything? This wicked child is going to destroy all my children. You better carry her away from here. You better drop her in some secluded place, in some remote forest. When she is so heavy now in infancy, what will happen when she takes up a position in youth or in youthfulness? She will surely be the cause of your death. She should not be kept in Lanka even for a moment. She should not be kept in Lanka, not for a moment. Ravana, like he wake up from a sleep, is now aware, jumps up, calling on Mahadev Baba to lift that box. She says to him, O son of Kaikashi, it is unfortunate when a mother allows a child to do as that child wishes. You are a product of such a situation that had you been given proper tutelage by Kaikashi, maybe some of these decisions that you make would not have been done. Today, listen to me. As a mother for my children, carry this box away from here. Take it in your pushpak, in your vahan, and leave it in a forest by my command. Thereafter, all the horde of demons lifted this heavy box and placed it on the vahan. At that moment, the wife of Ravana said to him, she is the one. If you never heard this, please remember. She is the one who could kill at the very sight. She is the killer. Therefore, she should not be left in the open, but you should bury her in the ground. Because of her potency, because of her ability, because of the shrap, the history, don't just leave her there. Bury her in the earth. She could grow in the house of a person that is a householder, that will control her senses. She will grow in such a home, normal home, not a Kshatri home, not a bright home, not a powerful home, normal home. She could grow up in a home where all creatures are treated equally, not in a kingly home, meaning to say where the king is treated as Lord and the people are treated as servants. Bury her, O husband, bury her. There's no doubt about this. Iti Mandodari vyakayam shrutu dutaha savitasya swayam yavate gunatu madhuyak snavyakta kanya vachano brihate tam. Shlok 243. On hearing these words of Mandodari, the messengers lifted the box, but the voice of that little girl was heard. From that little body, Devi says, I will come back to Lanka. And when I come back, I will destroy Ravana. I will destroy his sons, all his sons, his ministers. Thereafter again I will come. And you hear about that in the other Bhut Ramayana, this where she comes again. And I will destroy Pundarak, the son of Nikumba. When Ravana has 1,000 heads, which is a different discourse, I will come to destroy him the 4th time. There is no way not one of these sinful individuals will live. On hearing these words, Dashanan, Ravana, felt very injured, felt very lost. All the demons felt as if they were already dead. On hearing these words of this young infant, Ravana then thought of killing her in that very moment. Let's hear what happens. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Nama Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Tikshanam Kandaga Kare Dritva Padmam Drudra Yaha Ravana Hitum Kamam Pati Drishtva Maya Kanya Vyanratam Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samsita Namastasye 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 Namo Nama Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu. He holds on to the sword and he's about to drag the sword. If you want to kill me, I'm going to kill you first. And Mandodari says, as a mother, how can I see harm come to another person's child? How can I witness the harm to this child? How can I condone the harm to this child? I don't care what, O husband. What is the sense in killing this daughter of this Maya, this form that is going to bring an end? Don't do this today, since you still have a long life in front of you. If you do this now, it will bring death to your doorway now. Whatever happens in the future, whatever has to happen, it will happen. You have done all that you have done, and it is causing the wheel of karma to turn. For now, for the present, go and place her into a forest. And why? Why even think about inviting death into your home now? Leave my sons, let my sons live. O pestilence to this race, O Ravana. Go and carry that box away from here. Becoming very quiet. And this strong woman, many people, if we did in the ashram when we have Ramayana class and we dissect characters, this is one of the characters that sometimes people misinterpret. But when you listen to her story, when you hear how Mahavishnu is the one who gave her into marriage to Ravana, there's a lot of history, a lot of things that we could discuss. But this lady was a very strong woman. In fact, it shows that although the husband has ruthless, bad ways, it does not interfere with the training that she has. And this is the power of a righteous person, a righteous mother. A fixated, focused mother will do what she has to do to save her children, as in this example. She stands firm. She didn't curse, she didn't hit, she didn't cheat, she didn't do none of these things. But she stood by what was right. And she guided the husband to do just that. And in this strength, in this show of strength, the great Dashanan has to humble himself. And he does just what she says. Puts the box on the pushpak and he goes. Pashyana banani sarvani Sita ye Mithilam yasya cha krita bhumi gata dutetar sarveha karnikara mithilayatam ya Devi sarvabhuteshu shakti rupeina samstita. The workers of Ravana went into the country of Mithila and they take a spot and they dig a hole and they bury this golden case that had this little girl in it. Struggled to lift it, but they buried it. And they came back to tell him that it was done. Now the other day when we had the solar eclipse, we heard that certain prayers can't be done because it is a period of sutak, it is considered unclean. Again, that is only if it is visible where you are. But the Raja of Mithila, King Vedaha, or that same Janak that Dasrath is about to enter into, his sons about to marry into that Vedaha is his other name. At that time, he was giving land to all the Brahmanas. Charity was being done when a solar eclipse was running. And the Brahmanas thought of plowing the earth at that moment, that it should be done, it should be plowed now while the eclipse is on. And in that time, they instruct the farm workers to begin their work to clear the land and to begin the plowing process. And at that time, the blade of the plow, as it was going in one spot, hit something. A loud thud was heard. And as they excavated now the box is lighted. The box that was taken out of the earth, golden box, and it was brought to the Brahman. Shrishta swaya mahuratoyam mahabagam tava dvijayayate imam hal grahasya bhutanam grahnam tvam karina karakam ya Devi sarvabhuteshu shakti rupe nasamstita Namastasye, 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 namo nama. Uvacha brahmanam bhaktya maya bhumiha samarpitaha tasya labdaha tvayam cheyam tave vastu karnikara mithilayetam. Ya Devi sarvabhuteshu shakti rupena samstita namastasye 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 namo namah. The Brahman says, I am so fortunate. I have only now started to plow this field, and where would a golden box, gold-plated, gold-covered box come out from? How is it that in this very moment, in this remote field, in this place that had never been plowed before, at this time, this golden package is found? I have brought this treasure to you, O Brahman, said the farmer. And the Brahman takes it. But thinking, he says, let me take it to the king. And he narrated, Brahman, Panditji narrated the entire situation to King Janak, Raja Janak. And the farmer is there, he wants to see what is in the box. The king says, I am the king, and after I gave the land to you with devotion, in donation, whatever comes from that land, let's say you plant something, or you dig up something, you find something, because this is your land, O Pandit, this belongs to you. Vedaha nripate varha kaya shrutuvachan dvijahya punaha mahya samarpita purva bhumireva tvaya nripahan. Hearing these words of the king, Vedaha, the Brahman says, O king, you have given to me the land, but you did not tell me that what is in the ground is mine. And for this reason, you are the Lord of all the riches. You are the one who should hold this. I am giving this gift to you. And they went on like this, back and forth, back and forth. They had no idea what was in the box. The box did not open till this moment. The farmer becomes impatient and he says, Panditji, Rajan, please forget this squabble. Forget this, who own it is. Open the box. Let us see what is in there. Let us see what we found. What is it? Forgive me. Don't allow me. Don't look at me as being sinful. But I got the box and I heft the box and I want to know what is in the box. Rajan, O king, let us stop the dispute and open and see the contents of the box. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Nama Tadake Chara Radhani De Nedhuha Kusum Vriteshtabheha Var Vabhar Punaha Sura Sangaschatam Kanya Janakam Dripanaham Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Nama. Thereafter, the king, listening to the words of the farmer, he too became curious. And Raja Janak opens the box and finds a beautiful child, a girl child, glowing in that box. The Brahman says, O king, this is the reward for your yagya. This is the reward for your gifts. This is the reward that you have been praying for. And Raja Janak adopts that girl. That girl, all the devatas knew that this was Lakshmi Mata come back. Raja Vedaha treated her as his own daughter and brought her up as such, with knowledge, with training. The lessons of good examples. Her mother taught her how to pray, how to give dan. All the teachings. The Brahmanas were given great amount of land, riches. As she grew and prayed, sanskar, everything was done. Dasrath is told now, listen to her names. Because she is called the one who comes from the citrus. When you're doing Sita Puja, Sita Mata Puja tomorrow, if you're doing her offering, if you have orange juice, offer that as the dar. Don't study the acidity. As you will hear just now, she's the one who comes from the citrus. For this reason, citrus, believe it or not, is used in puja. But because there's a certain amount of acidity, sometimes people get it in their mind that it can't be used. Other schools are taught use the Nimbu or the lime in Durga Puja, which is even more acidic. But the acidity also has to do with the transfer of electricity, and that which is high in acid as compared to something high in alkalinity has that use, and we could discuss that another day. This is why if you go to Shakti temple, you see they're using lime juice, lime water, and they're sprinkling and so on. Here now, if a person is doing Sita Puja tomorrow, or you're making an offering and you happen to have a citrus, or you could get a grapefruit, a shadok, tangerine, etc., take that and offer it to her. Because she comes from citrus, she is worshipped as Matu Lungi in some regions of India. Because she is born from the fire, when she was Padma, she is also in the Havan, she is called Agni Garbha. Because she is born out of gems, the 5 gems that Ravana had put into the golden box, she is known as Ratnavali. Because, oh Dasrath, she was born from the earth, she was dug up from the earth, she is called Dharanija. Because she was brought up by, taught by Janak, she is called Janki. If you look at your religious calendar, you will not see Sita Naumi tomorrow. You will see Janaki or Janki Naumi. Janki is Sita Mata. Also here, Janki means daughter or issue of Janak. Because she was found by the striking of the blade, the plow, hitting the box, she is known as Seeta. Seeta is the one who is found because she is living, she was found, she was born by the plow. The plow is why she's given that name, and she's called Padma because she is the daughter of Padmaksha. O great king, Dasrath listened to the story of Sita, to the history of her name, to her credit. And Sri Ram, who had the cloud-like complexion, via the words of Raja Padmaksha, he has come in this complexion. If nobody never understood, in many places in Ramayana, we hear of the fair complexion of Lakshman in the ending of the Lakshman Sri Ram relationship. When Lakshman dies, we hear about it there with Agast Muni. But the color of Sri Ram was never explained till here. Shatanand says, to fulfill the words of Padmaksha, the prayer of that father still lingered. That Mahavishnu incarnated in that dark form only to take the hand of Sita. That is the only reason Sri Ram is depicted as a little darker or having the blue hue. When you see your pictures having that blue color, this is the purpose. Why did he have that color? Thus I have told you, O Dasrath, the cause for that little girl, how she gets the name Sita. Now, without delay, for the benefit of all, marry your 4 sons to these 4 girls. Mahadev, Shiva will dance. Mahadev Baba, who is giving this story, for all the regions that Dasrath had gained. Dasrath was such a big king. One day we'll go through his story. Mahadev Baba celebrated as if he too was, because he was there for the wedding, but he celebrated as if he was the father receiving the goddess, the mother, in this form. It says that the person who is able to hear, to listen, to remember, to cause others to hear the discourse of Sita Mata, her birth. What is the blessing? Health. Devotion is always going to come close to this person, and the blessings of Lakshmi, is always going to be theirs. Prem se bolo Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki Jai. Tonight, we have done the Sita Mata discourse, the Jayanti discourse, and I hope you remember it. And that last bit about causing others to hear it. I invite you, I encourage you, I'll give you a hint. Share it, click share, like tonight, send me your comments. Have you ever heard this discourse before? Share it to somebody in your family or a friend. Put it on your Facebook for me so that people could listen to it as well and gain knowledge about your Dharma. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to my channel so you could get more satsang like this. For those of you looking on, please subscribe to my YouTube so that you can get more and more when we're doing satsang like this at the ashram. Before we go forward, our Gita now, as our Yagna is coming to an end. Narayan, Narayanaya, Krishnaya, Paramatmaya Namo Nama, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, Mataha Sarvam Pravartate, Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhavasmayanti Vataha Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namam. I am the source of all creation and everything in this world. Remember we were talking about that the first night? Everything in this world moves because of my will, Arjun. I am chapter 10, verse 8. Because of me and because of my will, everything happens. Knowing this, the wise individual, full of devotion. We spoke about that devotion when Yashoda is listening to the words of Radha. Constantly worship me, the names. With their mind fixed on me, going on to verse 9 now, and their lives surrendered to me. So live your life. But when you're eating, call Krishna name. When you're giving charity, you're giving somebody a doubles or a piece of roti, Krishna Arpan. You're going somewhere, God, go with me. Enlightening one another about me, teaching people, sharing, like we say, Shari Satsa, about my greatness, speaking about me. Tomorrow, call your family, call your friends, and tell them as it is the Sita Jayanti tomorrow, not today. Do you know that Mother Sita, this, that, and the other, what you learn? My devotee ever remains contented and delights in me. Those ever united through meditation, constantly thinking, meditation with me, worshiping me with love in their heart, I give that person the wisdom, yoga of wisdom, through which they come to me. Vrindavan Bihari Lala ki Jai. In order to bestow my compassion on them, I dwell in their heart, I dwell in their darkness, dispel their darkness, the ignorance in their life, in their mind, in their actions, by illuminating the lamp of knowledge in their life. Verse 11, where I'm stopping here. I come in their life, and where there is darkness of ignorance. What is the darkness? The darkness is not physical darkness. The darkness is when you don't know. But God comes in your life to save you, to guide you, to show you that love, to have compassion, to forgive you, to forgive all the mistakes you make, in the form of the knowledge that you need. The same knowledge that Radha tells Yashoda on the first night. The knowledge that saves you, the name of Krishna, the name of God. That knowledge is a gift from God. The ability. So when people are attacking your dharma, when people are trying the best, you doing your part, your home remaining strong, is the biggest fight, the biggest pushback that you could do. Those people that cooked whatever they cooked in the people's temple, that's on them. Don't be distracted. Don't become filled with anger. Don't become filled with rage. It is upsetting, but let that walk away from you. You want to push back against that? Wear your sindur. Light your diya. Get up and offer your dar Teach your children. Mothers, tonight, I reflect on the first chapter in Gita, when the mothers fail to do their duties and teach the next generation. Then we're in Kali Yuga. That remains our focus. We celebrate mothers because of their role, their impactful role in the life of children and our families. Not only biological children, but you have your child and you lecture them in front of the friends. The friends going to learn too. A mother is so pivotal because of that. When you encourage your children to do worship, to practice their Guru Mantra, when you as the mother says, you know what, the children is 7, 8 years old, it's time for us to do Guru Diksha. It is time for us to get them, christened with the Pandit, the Guru, the teacher. I encourage, did you text your Guru? Did you WhatsApp your Guru? Did you send him a picture of your certificate? And the mother encourages that positive connection. In one example, did you have regard for your teacher in school? Did you have respect? Consider this, you're angry with the young people who did whatever they did in the temple. Just think for a second what their mother taught them. I'm sure they belong to some religious group. Did the religion fail them to encourage that bad behavior? Tonight we heard of Ravana and his mother letting him down. But when there's a breakdown in family life, this type of rogue behavior, this type of robbery, this type of thief and vulgar behavior, this is what is going to happen. And if God bless the young girl that goes from young girl to mother, God give you the strength to always do your very best so that we could have better people in society, in our village, in our home, in our apartment building, in our job, in our place of school learning, that we could be surrounded by goodly people. Because when mothers fail, then we are in darkness. And he says, chapter 10, verse 11, that I am the compassion. I am still willing to come into the darkest moment in your life and bring the knowledge that will save you. The conduit, the vessel that sometimes brings this guidance and this wisdom is the person we call Mami, Mama, Ma. Because she gets into you in a way that I don't think another person could compare. She could be foster mommy, she could be step mommy, I agree. She could be auntie, she could be mother-in-law, you name it, but that mother. Because when Parvati Mata in Brahma Vaivat Puran is taking out food for Lord Krsna, where she's praying to what in that discourse where Ganesh Baba is coming, where he gets the big belly. She's serving him so much food. He says, Ma, don't mind I'm older than you. I look to you as a mother, because any person that feeds a person, that becomes a mother. A person that feeds another person is supposed to be looked at as a mother. And daughter-in-law is supposed to be looked at as a mother. Your big brother's wife is supposed to be looked at as a mother. Not sexual, not female, no. But a mother. So there are different definitions to what mother is. According to Brahma Vaivat Puran, Ganapati Khan, there are 10 different types of mothers because of their way, their role. So don't tell me only biological mother is mother. When you listen to the story of Parvati Mata, that did not biologically make Ashok Sundari, that did not biologically make Skand Baba, none of them. But she is considered Ma. She is considered mother. Then we live in a religion and we live in a world where utter respect has to be given to people that have motherly ways. But if you only venerate the biological mother and you kick the person that is trying to make you into a better person, then the monsters that went into that temple, then you're going to see more people like that, because once they don't have that blessing of that lady. Because believe it, when we say you are my first God Ma, that lady's words, those words have value. Those words impact our lives. Because when a person has the blessing according to our Dharma, and I believe every religion, when they have the blessing of their mother, which door will remain closed for them? If you celebrate Mother's Day today, then celebrate all mothers. Don't celebrate some or what you choose to celebrate. And when you celebrate, what do you celebrate? You celebrate the strength of that woman. You celebrate her role, her righteousness, the endurance, the physical pain, as well as the tough decisions that they have to make on a day-to-day basis. When children let you down and the father is ready to kick brass, to throw away those children. And there are many examples you could imagine. That lady with holding her belly. As a pundit, I witness it regular. Pundit, I still my son. Pundit, I still my girl child. She make a mistake, Pundit, but how I go throw she away? You can't make decisions like that and be a weak individual, knowing, as you and I both know, that mother will tote that blame. The child made the mistake. But when we get into the psychology of the family, like what we did the first night when we were talking about abuse, for all of you looking on here tonight, send me a message. Tell me if I'm wrong. But tell me if in that moment, in this analogy, when the girl child makes a mistake, which is sometimes treated as a little more heinous, let's say premature pregnancy, etc. Tell me in that moment if the child doesn't immediately become the mother child, like your child. You see what your child do? Does the mother throw away the child? I agree there are examples of Kaikashi that fail in that role. Still mother, still has that status. You inherited that type of mother, that type of womb because of your karma. Your karma put you there. So even in that situation, you do not cry down. You might have pain, you might have hurtful feelings, but it is your own karma you are reaping. Sometimes people like to blame other people, if you understand where I'm going. My mother do me this. So, there's a court matter on every news station. You've seen Johnny Depp, the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean. He says, my mother abused me. She was abusive. She was a very abusive woman. My father was abused in the marriage, but he kept quiet. And I grew up looking at the abuse my mother inflicted on my father. And now I am into manhood. I thought that was correct. So I stayed in the relationship where I too was abused. And he shows pictures with all the damage. So, because of my mother. In that example, it's a different scenario there. But there are also examples where girls say, well, I stayed in the marriage with my husband. He's abusive to me, but I saw it in my mother. My mother used to shoulder a lot of blows, a lot of licks, a lot of hardships, in other words. But it was, mommy did it, so I did it. I stayed. I am, on a side note, I am all for sticking it out in the rough days in your marriage. Don't get me wrong. But we also live in a world, and we have to be mindful. We also live in a world where the monstrosity, where the monsters are relentless. People are digging up daughters every day. And I am publicly saying, see, when it reached that type of point where you are at risk, send the right message to your girl children, mothers. Make the tough decisions. And if it is, you call for formal help, police, protection order, etc. If it is, you talk to people, talk to your pundit, your priest, your mufti. Call family, friends. Don't isolate yourself. Informal, formal. Do something. Act. Maybe the prayer, maybe the help, maybe the words that could help you would save you. Prayers do work. But if it goes further and your life is in danger, don't be foolish. Be strong. Lead. And stand up, just as Mandodari did tonight, and she stood up for her children. Stand up for your children and say certain things are unacceptable. Abuse is not acceptable. It cannot be common. It cannot be allowed. In our Dharma, we treat women. We're supposed to treat women like a goddess. All that we have read for these 3 nights show that. Because of their role, because of their power, their abilities, we worship the energy, the Shakti within them. Tonight, I want to repeat that if, based on what we heard last night, the name of Krishna, we hear it again in Gita, about the compassion, the ability to be forgiven. If you have made mistakes in your marriage, in your life, in your relationship, it is never too late to say sorry. It is never too late to change. It is never too late to ask for help. If you are going down the wrong road in your marriage, go and ask for help. Get into counseling. Work on your marriage. Don't continue to be a self-conceited, self-opinionated individual that is driving yourself like Ravana, driving yourself to destruction. It may not be you alone, like Ravana. It may be you, your children, your race, everybody. His daughter lost her nose. You know the story of Ravana. Don't be that person. Don't be that guy. Tonight, as I conclude, and I apologize for going over time, I hope Mother's Day was a blessing for those of you that lost your mom. I pray, together with all of us here at the ashram, all the members of our group, all those that have been sending in their messages and their requests for discourse and everything, I pray as a group that may God bless your home. May God bless the soul wherever she is. And God give you the closure you need to continue doing good, to make that lady happy and proud. Remember, regardless of how many gray hair we get, we're still mommy's little child, mommy's baby. Make mommy happy, whether she's here or she's not. May God bless you. May God protect you. Remember, tomorrow is Sita Mata's birthday, and I am now giving you the knowledge that would, if you remember the story and just to offer the little orange or whatever you have, tomorrow is a day for that. Prem se bolo Adi Shakti Mata ki Jai. Everybody, please put your hands together. Tonight, as we conclude, may you all have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you soon in satsang. Remember, like and share the satsang on Facebook. Those of you on that go on the YouTube channel, if you're new, go and look on the YouTube channel. Search my name in YouTube and subscribe to that channel. You'll find me on TikTok. You'll find me posting information. I was supposed to put the link for the WhatsApp group. I'll put it tonight, don't worry. There's so much in our Dharma that we can learn, and by learning, he says it many times in Gita in various texts, the knowledge is the raft that takes you across this life, this sansara, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death. Knowledge is what gives you that. When you have the knowledge, wisdom will come. How to use the knowledge to get where you want to go. It is a journey, and I am only trying to help. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you learned something, and God bless your faith. Everybody, let's conclude now. Until we meet again in satsang, everybody, I hope you again had a wonderful Mother's Day, and God bless you this week ahead. Be safe. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva tvameva vidya Dravinam tvameva tvameva sarvam mama deva deva tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Together, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Prem se bolo Mahapati Mahadeva ki jai. Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki jai. Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki jai. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Satya Sanatan Dharma ki jai. Jai Jai. Sitaram. Sitaram everybody. And again, have a wonderful week ahead. Bye. Until next time. Sitaram.